welcome to Woodshop 101, a woodworking audio podcast geared toward the hobby weekend woodworker. Your hosts for the show are Jeremy Crawford and Drew Shore. Join these two different craftsmen for a lighthearted banter about everything woodworking, online education, and how they produce content. Topics could include the latest news, tips, tricks, and designs, to include furniture, crafts, and shop projects. Welcome to episode number 28 of Woodshop 101. All right, today we're going to talk about what makes a woodworker a craftsman. Is it hand cut or machine cut joints, or does it even matter? What's going on tonight, Drew?
Not a lot, man. Just got done filming, or not filming, but recording, recording our latest episode that'll come out this week or upcoming week.
Well, I mean, technically it's filming because it did record the video, so that's filming.
True. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I hope my air compressor doesn't go off again like it did in that one.
Yeah. Y'all might hear just a glimpse of that because I'm not going to edit it out. So
if that happens, there'll be dead air from me for a little bit. Well, let's see. Since we're on this particular episode, this is one of our fast and loose episodes. There's really no playtime for this. We're just going to get right into the topic and get going. This is only going to be about a 15-20 minute episode. This is part of our new format that we introduced I guess that would be last week, or was it this week? It aired this week.
Yeah, it aired Monday, the 1st of February.
Yeah, so this is kind of kicking off our new season. We just had our anniversary, 1 year anniversary on the 3rd, which was yesterday. But this won't air for another week and a half after that, so it'll be a while when you hear this. But right now, it's only a day after our anniversary, so we're kicking this off with a different format, and this episode is that format. So our topic for this particular episode is what makes a woodworker a craftsman? Hand cut or machine cut joints? Does it even matter as to what you cut or make that makes you a craftsman? And this particular topic, I believe, Jeremy, was picked by a viewer. Is that correct? Or a listener even? Yeah,
it was. And I think because there's just that stigma that sits in the woodworking world of, oh, you haven't cut hand-cut dovetails, or you haven't cut mortise and tenon. Well, you're not a true woodworker, craftsman. So I think it'd just be kind of neat to find out what your stance on it is, and what my stance on it is. So,
yeah, because we kind of have different styles here. I mean, you are more of a woodworker that you produce things to sell, and you do commission work for a lot of people, which I did in the very beginning, before I transitioned into YouTube and just kind of doing my own thing and recording it. So it's kind of cool to hear the two different styles of opinions from both you and I.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is kind of a hot. I don't know if it would be a hot button subject, but it is a subject that gets thrown around a lot in the woodworking community, especially when you're talking to these real woodworkers. I say that with air quotes, but the ones that do a lot of hand tool joinery and just hand tools in general. Are they true craftsmen, or the ones that operate power tools and still make beautiful furniture using power tools true craftsmen? I guess I'll just go ahead and throw my opinion out there. I mean, to me, a woodworker, regardless of whether or not they use hand tools or power tools, I still consider them craftsmen. Now, you kind of have to take that into consideration, that what they might make. Like, every woodworker has a different ability and a different talent as to what they can create. Some may be good, some may be decent, some may be just really bad. But I guess it's kind of a subjective term, that whatever a third party sees, are they going to look at that project and say, wow, this person's a real craftsman? Or are they going to look at it and go, this person's a real amateur? I don't know. It's kind of in the eye of the beholder too. What makes you a craftsman? Are you valuing other people's opinion of you, or are you valuing your own? Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard to really fine tune this subject matter down.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And I'm going to take the stance on the latter. Like in my opinion, it doesn't matter. I think this really stigma behind the woodworking. I'm gonna lean to say that it's from more from the earlier woodworkers or the older woodworkers to the younger generation of woodworkers, and just there's so many things that jigs and all these different things have come out that have just making joints easier. There's things that have, like the Festool domino, that have just made making mortise and tenon a whole lot easier than cutting it on the table saw or cutting it by hand. Or you have tenoning jigs for the table saw, and then you have dovetail jigs, and all those things just make it a little bit easier and a little quicker. So I think that stigma came from the older generation to the newer generation. And in my opinion, it doesn't really matter how you cut a specific joint, or if you even cut that joint. I mean, you could be a craftsman and still use pocket hole screws all day long. Like you said, it's kind of in the eye of the beholder. Like, you have to determine where you value your opinion.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking to be a big name like William Ing or Sam Maloof, then yeah, you might have to go back to more traditional ways, just because that's how that's the view of the majority. But if you're doing great work, beautiful work, and you're using pocket holes, or you cut all your dovetails by machine, I don't think it matters. I think the really the only fine line that, like, I would draw in woodworking is between like carpentry and craftsman. Carpentry is more like 2x structure, building shops, walls, things like that. Versus your craftsman's like your furniture, and like your little knickknacks, things like that. I think that's about the only line I would draw between a woodworker carpenter and a woodworker craftsman.
Well, I don't know. I kind of veer a little bit in that opinion slightly, just mainly because just the standard definition of craftsman is a person who is skilled in that particular craft, whether it be woodworking or carpentry or rough carpentry. I mean, the list can go on and on. But if something is created by hand and that person is very skilled at doing it, that person can be considered a craftsman, in my eye. Because I know I've gone to many places, because I know nothing about building a home from scratch. So if I see how things are done and I have no knowledge of how it's done, it really impresses me, and I'm just like, man, this guy or these people that build this stuff do really, really good work. And I know it's more than I can do. Now, when it comes to something that I have great experience in, I'm going to be a little bit more, I guess, more nitpicky in critiquing their work. That still doesn't make them any less of a craftsman, or any more of a craftsman. Just depends on, like you said, and like I said, who is actually looking at it? Where do you value that opinion? But I mean, if you're putting all your faith in what other people think of you, and those opinions aren't necessarily good all the time, then you will never look at yourself as a craftsman. So you will never want to. I don't know. It'll kind of burn you out if you keep hearing bad feedback. So it's kind of like me as a woodworker in YouTube, that if I keep listening to all the negative stuff, it would make me not want to better myself as a YouTube woodworker. So I guess in a way, these YouTube woodworkers, the better they get with their editing skills and things like that, they're a craftsman of that particular field. of just YouTube creations. So I don't know. It's like you said, it's not a matter of how you get the job done, just as long as you do a good job doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. And you're right. It's if you constantly strive to meet somebody else's standards, if say, and by no means is this true, but let's just say Shannon Rogers of the Renaissance Woodworker, he's primary hand tools. If he said, you're not a true craftsman until you cut hand cut dovetails, or you cut all your joints hand cut. If you always strive to that and that's not where you want to go, you're not going to enjoy woodworking. You're going to burn yourself out, like you said, and you're never going to grow as a woodworker in the direction you want to go, versus you striving to do what you want. If your whole goal is I want to build a kitchen full of cabinets and I want to do every single drawer with dovetails, but I don't want to hand cut all those dovetails. I'm a machine cut them. But if that's the end goal, is that you just want to do that, then that's all that matters, is how you get to that end goal, and how you view yourself. It's an easy rabbit hole to get into, the saying, "Oh well, this isn't good enough for the Wood Whisperer Guild, or this isn't good enough to be displayed in this museum." Then you're undervaluing yourself, and you're kind of. I don't think you'll find yourself in this field very long if you keep going down that rabbit hole. I agree with you. So I think ultimately it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you enjoy what you do, and you put effort into however you want to cut a joint or whatever you want to make. So
it's kind of this subject has been a good one to talk about, because it kind of has, I guess, opened both of our eyes as we're discussing it.
Yeah, and it's right, and we've decided to do, our every other episode, this kind of shorter and sweeter podcast, and not everything's going to be practical. 2 weeks ago when we talked about rulers versus tape measures, that was more of a real world application, versus now this is more the philosophy mindset behind woodworking. And that's what I kind of enjoy, is like we have the opportunity to kind of look at a multitude of different topics and different angles. Not everything has to be practical, because when it comes down to it, is woodworking is not all practical. A lot of it is mental, and the heart and the soul that you put behind what you build ultimately determines your happiness. If you're not happy with what you're building, you're not going to be happy in the woodworking world. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think we pretty well covered that. A lot of these topics like this that are very subjective, like you said, it's a rabbit hole, and by no means are we experts on this whatsoever. We just kind of go by our life experiences and just kind of putting common sense to just an ever-growing opinionated problem. So, yeah. By no means go by 100% by what we say. This is all opinion-based, but I still think it was a good discussion.
Yeah. All right, well, let's, by the time you're hearing this episode, it's going to be the Monday after Valentine's Day, so you'll still have about a week, maybe a little more, to enter our giveaway for our 1-year anniversary. You can head over to www.countrysideworkshop.com/giveaway, and there's I think there was about 17 different ways you can enter. And there's 4 different prizes you could win, or 4 different groups of prizes you can win from different companies. So head over there and enter the giveaway and win some goodies.
Yep, very cool, and it's all in celebration of our 1 year anniversary that Jeremy and I just surpassed yesterday. So help us out, show us some love. You can go to iTunes also, give us a recommendation, a comment, a 5-star rating, just to help us get out there to the public eye. It'll help us immensely, and this giveaway is just our way of saying thank you to you all for being our listeners. So, Jeremy, since we are pretty much done with this, let's go ahead and give them contact information. So where can people find you?
You can find me at countrysideworkshop.com, and there you'll find links to all my social media. If you want to contact me directly, you can send me an email at jeremy@countrysideworkshop.com. But I'm pretty good about responding to Facebook and Instagram, and I'm getting around to Twitter. So you can contact me pretty much on any of those platforms, and I'll get back to you at least within the day, depending on what I'm doing. But social media, I'm pretty much within the day.
Very cool. And as far as I'm concerned, you can reach me at rhwoodshop.com. That is my website for Rockin' H Woodshop. All of my contact information will be on my Contact Us page. I'm also pretty, I was going to say popular. That's not good. Pretty active. That's what I was looking for. Pretty active on Facebook and Instagram. I tend to post a lot of daily pictures of my process builds as I go. So you can reach me in a multitude of ways, like through Twitter and things like that. My email is also drewshort@rhwoodshop.com. We also have a voicemail that you guys can reach us at through Woodshop 101. So if you have a topic or a question or something that you want to bring to our attention, you can call through any device, either a landline or a cell phone, anything, at a number of, area code is 409-234-3959. And we can play that on air and possibly answer your question live on the air. So it's a pretty cool method to get a hold of us. But otherwise, the Woodshop 101 can be reached through woodshop101podcast.com/listen. You'll find all our episodes there. And what is the email? I think the email is woodshop101podcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a multitude of ways to get a hold of both Jeremy and I. So that's pretty much it. So this was a pretty good topic. And if you have any other topic suggestions, be sure and drop us a line. We would love to entertain the idea of having that on one of our future episodes. Jeremy, do you have anything else before we go?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much. From Jeremy and myself, we want to wish you safe in your shops. Have a great night. And that's pretty much it. So 1, 2, 3.
Boom.